رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Without wasting any more seconds, I would like to invite you all to a new step within our series, and today we are discussing about marriage for an introduction. The question I'm having, let's get one person or two and two here, because of time we proceed. A lot is happening in marriage. Abantu bevuma, people are abusing each other, violence because of marriage. That the whole drama is happening. Why do you still insist to get married? Ofachi. That's my question. Why do you still insist to get married, or maybe to marry? Is the question clear? How many of you want to get married? Haven't you heard of stories where wives are killing husbands? Haven't you heard of stories as a result of marriage where violence is actually in that marriage? Why do you still want to get married? Haven't you heard of men getting stress because of those creatures? You know actually your wife is going to stress you. Why do you still want her? That is my question. And to your sisters, Ofachi, these men at times beat you, at times they marry other women, at times they leave you to be single mothers. Why do you still find sense into marriage? Bismillah.
Question is
Ofachi. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. First and foremost, what you should know, Sheikh and my colleagues, the problems you find when you are single, and that what you find the marriage like okwevuma byosanga ng'olisinga tebisinga biri. There is stress, there is bakuvumye akunyiziza, but atawo butono. But you are going to face more problems when you are single.
Your point is when you're single, the stress is more intense.
Is even more than when you are married. The last point is that bonasibe wa Sheikh bayinza okubavuma nzala nampo mutuufu. No, all women are not the same. I'm having an example. My mom is a good wife. Not that in the Anzara, but she's good. And I have ever heard my dad saying that, wow, it's like Amwana. But it is Chirabikana called that Yenge Yamuisama, Yenge Yamukwatam. Those people, they grow up from different families. Kubanga jakulira bali bavumi atoli bamukuza bulungi nzalla nantebesa kati bona sibeba muyinza okuba mukazi wo avuma akuba but maini ayinza okuba omulungi
ekitegeeza ku bakyala kwotava
sintino kwesiba naye. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. One I want to try a brother there before. Yes, at least you will come last in the discussion, I think. A new face at least, please. Then we cross to the sister's side. If there is any, then we proceed. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
According to me, I would like to marry because I need to be respected. Sheikh, other people may not see it as an issue.
You want to get married because you need to be respected?
Yes. Because the way I see my father, the way mom respects him, and the way we respect him, for sure.
You want to feel that?
He impressed me to get married.
Like how is he respected? A different cup?
A different
They
cup.
kneel?
For sure, we talk to him like someone who is important in our life. The way we talk to him is not the way we talk to our big bros or sisters. So it impressed me for sure.
It inspires you to that one day you will also be in that position.
Yes, I need to be respected.
Even when there is drama, you will still be there.
Even though there is drama, but still respect stays there. Someone who still respects you.
That was a beautiful one. Barakallahu fikum. Barakallahu fikum. Sisters, do you have any? Yes.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You're welcome, Sheikh.
Yes.
I'm so grateful for that topic today, or the next step after dating. We are now in marriage. Sheikh, despite the loopholes in marriage, I would like to get married because of the importance of marriage. First of all, I want to get married, not to produce bastards. That's like for procreation. When I'm married, my children will be recognized that they are for so and so. Then secondly, I want to have legal sex, whereby the sex for married people, it will be legal. But if you're not married, you will be having sex in hiding. You don't want to be known, but when you're married, they will say yes. They will have it and no one will condemn you. Another thing, I want to get married because I want to be respected. As the brother said, they will say so and so is a wife to so and so, which is very okay.
Okay, so kubasajja kwotava.
But now.
MashaAllah, barakallah. Don't I have someone who doesn't want men are trash, someone like that? An ambassador of that group. Thank you, sister, for a wonderful submission. Do we have any? Yes. Halima.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, marriage is something difficult. It's not easy at all. But regardless of it all, I will still go for it because of the many importances. I'm just adding on to my sister what she said. Yeah, for example, like life is uncertain. You don't know what is going to happen. Like marriage can build a sense of belonging to, like you have someone you feel secure with, at least regardless of what will happen in the future. And also raising your kids to people is better than to me. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, like, for example, in times of illness, old age, it's better to be with someone who's going to support you, and even financially. Thank you.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. She's my little one, eh? She's my little sister. So be careful, eh? Be careful. Barakallahu feekum. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy because this lecture is now growing step to step. My assumption is we didn't waste 10 episodes for nothing. If you're seeing me for the first time, or maybe if you're here for the first time, you're a newcomer here. Be a serious student to find out the previous lessons and learn so that we move together on the same page. I'm dedicating today's session as an introduction to marriage, because some of the biggest misconceptions we actually end up getting into is to think that marriage is going to be dramatic just like our dating story. It is actually a transition to understand that when you're trying to build up a story with whoever you want to start a family with, that's a point, but when you think of marriage and you've already started marriage, it's another story now, and it's different guidance there. Islam comes to guide and to change your mindset when it comes to the way you're going to approach marriage. Because of its sensitivity, Islam wants to educate whoever wants to start that social step within their lives to understand that marriage is not going to be like any other relationship that maybe would drive you to that. I always say out and I'm like, marriage is the only relationship that has the possibility to squeeze the worst out of you. You don't know the apex of your happiness. You don't. You can't claim that you're happy when you have no one that calls you dad or maybe mom. You don't know how that feels. You don't know how it feels to come back to people who actually are concerned about your safety at the end of the day. Those are all categories of being happy. You don't know how it feels when there is a man who isn't your dad, who isn't your brother, but they are actually prioritizing your safety to just make sure life is smooth for you. Now that is from the positive side. But the same applies with the negative side. Your wife is going to be the creature that is going to stress you to the fullest. Which is okay because she's your wife. The same applies with your husband. Because you're not the creator, you're not going to create your man. That dramatic man you have of yours is the one that is going to bring that stress you actually fear a lot in your life. But because of the sensitivity in marriage, you're not going to kill each other. If I'm your friend and you hate me, you have very many options. You're going to block me, you just make sure you're not in my lecture room, you just make sure you're just away. You have very many options. For God's sake, your wife and your husband, even after a hot discussion, as in a tough one, you still have to be under the same roof. Now that mindset is not for just some two adults that are excited to start marriage without understanding that. Now because we have this for a lecture or maybe for a topic, just to create awareness. To the Muslim fraternity, to the university fraternity, you're just not serious. But maybe understanding that marriage has a different way that actually things have to be done. When it comes to the way you're supposed to approach marriage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, let me actually use one verse and try to translate that. In Surah Al-Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went further to actually educating us with objectifying marriage, and actually we should use that for a definition whenever we want to approach marriage. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Allah was like, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. If you want to understand Allah's way of working, if you want to actually believe in Allah, you're not going to see Him directly, but there are some signs you're going to consider, and you actually get notified that actually there is a creator, and this all is not happening on its own. Allah was like, if you want those signs, أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. Please understand that we were created and our spouses were meant to be in the same species with us. She is a human just like you. You are a human just like her. Now it becomes easy for a human and human, the two adults, to actually come up to agree to start up a family. That alone is the first step Allah is giving you to understand that the fact that you're a human being, and whoever you're going to call wife is also a human being, you already understand that how does he behave, it will aid your compatibility. And if you understand that a man is not a woman, it is also going to aid your connection, azwaja. But then Allah gave us the reason as to why we get married. We prioritize actually having people within our spaces. Litaskunu ilayha. As-sakina, it is the sense of tranquil, sense of peace, and wherever you want to feel like you need to relax, you think about whoever you call a spouse. Now, that level of understanding, that sense of maybe the tranquility within your spouse will never be attained if you're still excited. You can only understand that you actually have someone who comforts you and you find peace with after some development in that relationship. But then Allah cautioned you, before you actually get married, because it's not a contractual thing limited by time, you need to prioritize that. Are you actually comfortable with whoever is going to call you husband, or maybe whoever is going to call you wife? Because we get married to be peaceful. We don't get married to start wars. One of the reasons as to why many marriages are failing is that objective being neglected. Now, as a husband, just do whatever you're doing, but just make sure you actually a sense of tranquil, your sense of relaxation and tranquility is actually obtained from your wife. Now, that's not your job. It's a job of your wife. The same applies from a lady. You just make sure your sense of tranquil is actually within your husband. That's not your role. It is your role to her. Now, if you understand that, it helps as you're approaching within marriage. The foundation is you get married and attached where you feel peaceful. Some of you actually decide to get married to people with indicators of stress. You are unserious. Why do you have a date of nikah when you've not yet even agreed onto some of the differences you still have before you even get to marriage? There is already drama that is designed within marriage. You don't get the drama from dating to marriage. That is just a lot of drama. First deal with this dating drama. As soon as you're done, you're reducing on the drama. When you start marriage, deal with the drama of marriage. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Allah is like, He is the one that instills the kind of love that is actually mixed with affection between the couple, and actually it is spiced up by feeling merciful to each other. Your wife must be merciful to you, regardless. Your husband must be merciful to you. And actually, you don't have a creation of that. Allah is the one that instills that after taking a step of actually trying to check how compatible you are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that understanding. From that verse, what I normally understand from it is, don't get married to people with a misconception that marriage is going to change them. Marriage is not a training center. If you're not ready, don't get married. What marriage does is to actually expose everyone to the other. There is no way you're going to check to understand how violent this man is. But maybe after marriage, that's when you're going to know that. Because what marriage does is to actually squeeze out whatever makes you a man, and whoever you call a wife is there to receive that. Now you will find out that there is a lot to do onto yourself before you actually get to that level. If at all you get to that level after understanding that, then you're going to be a good husband and wife. And that is actually the reality when it comes to marriage. Now Islam wants to be realistic with whoever approaches marriage. There is some drama you don't bring to marriage just because you are dating together. For example, there are some stuff that you people actually don't take serious. A husband is not the same as a boyfriend. Of course, boyfriend, lulimi lwa kamanyiro. If your woman calls you a boyfriend, yakumanyira manyira datonna manya. A husband is a husband. And that is a title. Some family elsewhere, or maybe families elsewhere, call you son-in-law. That is a position of leadership and authority. The way you're supposed to actually behave as soon as you become a husband is totally different from the excitement you had before. Maybe when you were talking with this future baby of yours, when you were dating, you even told her that, my queen, don't mind those stories you see on social media. Me, I'm a very peaceful man. Even when we are in public, don't kneel. Don't kneel. That is backwardness. Don't kneel. For me, I'm your man. I understand you. You understand me. Just stand up. You can even touch my hair like this in public. You were excited because you were dating someone. When marriage comes in the game, there are some rules that are applied there. We might not go indoors because when you're two alone in your own apartment, it's a different story. Over she kneels, over she respects you, whatever she does, that's your business indoors. Do you know what it means in this society for your wife to show disrespect in you when we are watching? How are you going to deal with that? Because after that scenario, I'm going to call you and I'm like, oh, come on. Muzammil, how can your wife do that to you in public? Isn't that reason enough to understand that marriage is actually another thing? Many of you young ladies actually pin your husbands not actually taking you out. Temunna manya how difficult it is to move with your family to go out, and how easy it is to move with whoever you're dating. Don't you know the difference? To whoever you're dating here, all it takes an appointment where we meet somewhere, you take ice cream, she gets border, to go where she has come from, you take another border, you go where you have come. When a married man is going out with a family, do you know what it means? You are moving out with your whole dignity. If your wife does anything reckless in public, amakago nagaswala, muswala mwenna. When you're dating, it's not a concern. Aswala bibi because she's going back on her own border. Now aswala bibi because you're going back on your own. Now I am here, but I'm representing my people for God's sake. Sigenda kusirwalira wano, sigenda kwogera bitakwatagana, because I know I have people that I report to. That is what marriage does. Now when you appreciate those realities, okakana muge mazima, that's when you're going to understand that even when you're going out with your wife, the way you conduct yourselves as people who are married outside is totally different from the young girls and boys that are actually out. The PDA story, the public display of affection. Why do you peck your wife in public? Mupapachi. You have home. You are in public, for God's sake. Get a border, get you into the car. Go back where? Go back home. Leave that for the young boys and girls who have nowhere to sleep. Chigwera ukudate. They smile, and then everyone goes back where they have come from. Isn't that a difference between marriage and people who are not? Now, the biggest misconception is, if you want to carry that whole drama that happens before and you throw it in marriage without actually analyzing that reality, it's going to be problematic. And that is how Islam prepares us to appreciate whatever comes with marriage. There are some realities I want us to actually talk about in that respect before we wind up. First, marriage doesn't change people. It exposes what people are realistically. So as you get married to someone, as you're approaching marriage, please understand that there is a lot you're going to know from your spouse that you didn't know before. Because when you follow the Islamic style of dating, our assumption is you were not actually immoral before. You didn't spend the night together. It's only unserious few people that actually do that, but if someone is actually straight, they're not going to do that. Now, when you start living together, when you've been single for 25 years, and she has been single for 22 years, or maybe 25 years, it's another story. Chances are you might get to know something from your partner, but you're not going to leave them because they don't meet what you expected. Now, Islam guides to only teach us that you only declare some features that are actually exclusive, that you find there are insecurities between your partner as you're dating. But realistically, when you start marriage, there is another reality waiting for you, because now you're learning to live two people from two different realities, two different backgrounds, but you need to find life together for the time you don't even know. Now, through that journey, there is a lot that come, but in most cases, because of the excitement, and then maybe we are not trained in that angle, the marriage ends because we are still in the learning process. After the honeymoon, there is that couple time, we don't know, about months that will come, and now reality comes. You're not excited emotionally, not because you don't love each other, but there is a way this man litters around that is stockings in the house. You don't understand why an adult cannot get the stockings and put them in the laundry basket. It is a concern to you, it is not a concern to him. Katinga mwechawa ora soksi. You just find ways of, okay, please, my husband, there is a way, I'm allergic to these stockings, please. Now, you charge for 1 week, you're a very good boy for 1 week. After 1 week, you resume. You go back to leaving them there. Marriage has to proceed, even with those simple differences. So that is a reality that actually comes with marriage. If you get to understand the difference between the two, marriage is different from that, the excitement that comes with the whole dating situation. Point number 2, marriage is a commitment. It's only the committed that get married. With the commitment, I mean the commitment you need to keep the marriage alive. I was discussing with my little sisters just before the session. Whoever is not committed in marriage, please do us a favor, don't get married, because you're going to fail in that marriage. Commitment means you have a discipline you're going to do unconditionally, irrespective of whatever you're going through. Commitment means you're going to still provide for your people, even with the fact that you're not fine. One simple example. How many single men feed themselves on a balanced diet? Single men, I'm asking single men. Like after subuhi, you take warm water with lemon. then at around munyambe boiled matoke with muzigo, with some ovals, some greens somewhere, with spiced tea at 10. That is now a heavy breakfast with avocado. Now, that is a single man. If you're here, raise up the hand. I have a gift for you. After 10, now at around 12 and 1, because you know what nutrition is, you need that serious lunch. What do you eat for lunch? They are saying, Chikomando, these are your husbands. Something heavy for lunch. And then dinner, evening, there you take some, because it is not good to eat heavily in the evening. Nutrition. It is not good to eat heavy food at night. So popcorns and tea and something light, you sleep. Wallahi, how many of you have that discipline when you're single? Some of your men here are the very poor people to actually feed well when they are single. Do you know what it means to actually start feeding people every meal when you're not committed? The fact is, you were single and you didn't even do that for your own self. Whoever is calling you husband, whoever is calling you dad, is expecting you to provide them breakfast you denied yourself from. Is expecting you to provide lunch you actually at times skipped. Is actually expecting you to provide supper that you actually skipped. Some of you actually find ways of dodging these meals. Like you delay taking lunch, you take it at around 4 or 5, heavily, 2 chapatis with some soup, heavy, with water. And at night you sleep. 1 meal in a day. But when you get married, it only takes a committed man that is not going to take that as a step to take good care of you. Do you need commitment or not? Because you decided to get married to uncommitted men, mugenda kufenjera nze mbabulira. Because when he's not happy, you're not going to eat. When he has not eaten, there is no way you're eating. When he's eating meat, that's when you're going to eat meat. The committed man is someone who might actually miss a meal because he has calculated. As soon as he gets that meal, he's not taking anything back home. That is what we call commitment. Islam wants to train you to understand that as a man in a home, you don't do something just to seek appreciation from whoever is receiving. Even on a bad day, you need to continue taking up that, because that's what makes us exclusive. We are not emotional, we are logical and disciplined. Commitment does that. Imagine with all that commitment, and your wife tells you, "Your man, wallahi, you've never loved us in this world." How are you going to wake up from that blow? Mugenda kwekyayira bwerere mu bintu ebyekyana ekito because of you guys not actually seeing those levels of commitment. Now, that was on your side. When we check their side, they also need commitment. Do you know what it means to actually think for an adult what they are going to eat daily? If she asks you daily, what should we cook? What should you cook? You don't have an answer on a daily basis. But for some reason, you are expecting her to actually prepare something good for you on a daily basis. Commitment does that. Do you know what it means for your wife to take up a burden of how you're going to look on a daily basis? What you're going to wear, how you're going to look, how you're going to smell outside on a daily basis. You're not a young boy, But for some reason, she does that on a daily basis. If she's not committed, stop marrying young girls that are not committed. If she's not committed, there is no way marriage is going to go. Now, everyone has their own drama. If you come to appreciate that reality, you're not going to tell your wife that you're not doing anything in this house. Because realistically, bitama. When you come back on a day where she has not prepared anything, you're not going to actually see it as a problem. Because she has managed to do that for a month. Okay, let us say 2 months. As a person, it is possible for her to get tired, even when she is committed. Now, because you understand that commitment and you understand that commitment, there is no way you're going to actually try to attack each other from each field. You will appreciate. If at all he fails at a point, you will also appreciate, and marriage will go on. That is the level of commitment Islam wants to prepare within whoever is actually approaching marriage. If we have that for a reality, we are going to be good people, and our marriages are actually going to survive. That is all in respect with commitment. Now, if you're having a partner who is actually lazy to commit, don't marry them. Spare yourself some drama. Okay, on average, how much would you spend on your family in a day? Men. Muchali bagole, you're still in honeymoon. In the IUIU Nkoma Mbale city economy, on a day, how much would you spend? 3,000. 30,000. 30,000. And even 30,000 is much. Okay, let us say 30,000, because you're 2 and 30,000, that couple that is actually fancy and so on. 30 times 30 days. How much is that? 1.5. 1.5. 1.5 on a daily basis. You know, when you don't add, numbers never go wrong. Mathematicians here, I'm seeing my brother Nasruddin. Numbers don't lie. Now, that is 1.5 monthly. When you're living 30K daily, you don't feel it. But in a month, that is 1.5. It's okay. But it's not the only expense. You need to have a reserve as a man in a home. Maybe your wife is going to get sick abruptly. Power is paid for. All that is all money. The last thing you need around your space is a woman that will never understand how committed you are to take good care of them. At least make other mistakes, but don't marry someone who is not going to understand that for a reality. Because it is going to break you and you won't actually wake up from that blow. It kills your manhood, and we need you to thrive with that healthy masculinity in you. The same applies with the sister. That commitment does that. Your wife is having twins. She's a new mother now. She has to cook for you for some reason. She has to cook for you. She has to take care of the kid. This kid is jumping here. This one is falling. Sugar is now spilled out. The TV is there. For some reason, it is just a lot in a day. The last thing you need is a very selfish man to call you wife. Because the statement you're going to get that same day is toina chokola. Meaning you're not doing anything, you're a very lazy woman. That statement is going to break your wife, and you will never get that version of her again. You set, factory reset, and you live together like two strangers for another good year or maybe other years. Until you die, you enter paradise, and we move on. Islam comes to train us all that commitment is actually something we need to actually build for marriage to go on. As I'm winding up, please understand that it's only men that marry. Boys don't marry. Sisters, you have wasted your time enough. If whoever you call upcoming husband is still a boy and they are not ready to commit to marriage, that 1 year is enough to waste. Try elsewhere. Thank me later. A man, Islamically, was not designed to enjoy without earning. What makes us men is you invest in your energy, your time to build a relationship by earning her, doing the necessities, just like we are to see them in the nearby future, to just earn her so that you enjoy whatever comes with her. Now, your man has already started enjoying you without even seeing your father, and you're laughing. You have every reason to understand that this male creature is not serious at all. You've wasted enough time. Man up, marry, start up families. It's only men that have that ideology. If someone doesn't have that ideology, please don't consider them for husbands. You need to be very clever to understand who is coming up to you. And to the gents, don't get married to girls. Look for women. There's a very big difference. Girls are still girls. Bakyali bato, bakyetaaga okulera. They are still young. Tebamanyi nsi bw'etambula. Leave them to their parents to nurture them for some good years. Look for women who actually are committed and understand what commitment is. Because of that age excitement, mutomedde abaana abato ne mulwala emitwe mwangu mmwe. The fact is, your woman is just too excited. She has no clue about what marriage is. She has no clue about what commitment is. She's just too much expectant. She's far away from what reality is. She's going to kill your manhood, you thinking you're the problem, but you just got involved with a very young, excited girl. Look for these women, your fellow campusers. Leave young girls to still grow up. To get to the discipline of learning that you need that commitment, it doesn't only take a few years. It takes time to groom yourself, build yourself, nurture yourself, fix yourself to actually get to those levels. And then bravo to whoever is going to call you husband and wife because of that reality. That is actually something we need to actually prioritize. Now, when we get to that understanding, I'm sure our marriages are going to be okay. Now, from that background, from that foundation, Islam prepares us to understand that marriage is actually a very sensitive relationship and we shouldn't approach it with excitement. What normally happens is, even people who are not respected as wives and husbands are actually giving out definitions about marriage, and you're listening. Yes, someone is 40 years old, but for God's sake, no family has ever respected him as a son-in-law. He doesn't know how it even feels. Taina gwaswalira aliawo, but for 40 years. What makes you think they are credible for you to actually guide you? Maybe they might be right if they are realistic, but if at all they want to guide you in that detailed way, it might not be valid. The same applies with the sisters. Someone was never given mahar. sina mu mbeera ya kusaaga. They have never been respected as wives. Because if someone is respected as a wife, it's another story now. It basically means that they were respected and they earned her through marriage. That means we are ruling out whoever is still dramatic in those relationships, just cohabiting with someone for 2 years. You think you qualify to talk to married people? First get a certificate, first get respected first, for starters, and then you will get the moral authority at least to actually be realistic with us. Now that is what is happening today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good marriages because of the foundation we are laying. And that is actually the guidance when it comes to the Islamic background. Because of time, I had prepared to actually make a comment about some of the different verdicts when it comes to marriage. Marriage can actually be compulsory onto you when you're able, you have the necessary capabilities, and you can't restrain yourself from doing bad, from going immoral. Now when you get to that level, it becomes compulsory for you to actually do whatever is required to find a spouse and start marriage. Scholars were like, now you need, because instead of doing haram, it's better you find someone, just like a sister said, to do it in halal. Marriage can actually be haram onto you. If at all you're too malice and actually you intend to harm whoever you're going to call wife, or maybe whoever you're going to call husband, it's okay, don't get married. Scholars were like, don't hurt someone just because you're hiding into the bracket of marriage. And some other different verdicts. I won't go in details in them because of time. But I would like to wind up the session today by calling upon my audience. Let us have some respect for marriage. When you're planning to start up marriage with whoever you're calling, you're trying to build a story. I know some of you might be in stories here and there. Have a serious discussion when it comes to marriage. Things are not always the same like when it comes to dating. Yeah. Bw'oba okwana weerekereyo akatiibwa akatonotono koyinza okunyumirwa after. Don't be too much excited as a man when you're dating. Your wife actually, even when she's doing what? She's joking. Atera okuvumamu ku ttwe. She's like, wallahi, you are stupid, my husband. Now, that you're stupid, my husband, you're even laughing because muchekwana one. Now you also say, my wife, I'm not stupid, wallahi. But there's a way you understand things, because you're still. When you're married and your wife calls you stupid, do you know what that means? It is totally different. Because of that sensitivity, this husband of yours has to understand the sensitivity of marriage. Let me bring one example. Your wife might be partially beautiful. She has insecurities when it comes with her nose. For some reason. Naye mu byonoonyezaayo muvuma, you're abusing her the nose. As emotional as they are. The following day, you've opened up a door you're not going to manage to close. My husband has a problem with against the she's going in for surgery. My husband, for some reason, the nose is a problem. I don't know. She might look for some other people. Blah, blah, blah. That is a problem you've opened by your own self. Who told you that just because you're friends when you're dating, now when you enter marriage, mutwale that excitement to marriage? No. Friendship is a level. Husband and wife is also another level. Why do you sit with your wife just because you're friends and then you discuss, you know, my wife who have been there at campus, but wallahi, I've seen this girl. She's very beautiful. I don't know why. I felt like even marrying her. You're not allowed. Because she's a wife. Even when you're best friends, this wife of yours is just clever. She's telling you, you know my money, I am your support system. We can talk about anything. You can talk about anything with me. I will understand because am I not your friend? Baby, you're like, yes, you're my friend. And then you're talking everything, even the insecurities. You end up losing out as a husband. You need to understand that marriage is actually different. Friendship is a level and marriage is a level. And because we need marriage to actually go on, we don't just attack it like that. We respect each other when we're in the relationship so that we continue living together in harmony. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, bless you all, the singles who are here, with some good firm marriage. Allahumma ameen. But please get married. Now we have started the series, the topics of marriage. You are still single. I've taught you how to approach. I've taught you how to talk to each other. You are still single. Sheikh Ismail, what are they not doing? Singles are here, there are many. Singles are here, there are many. Do something for yourselves. Thank me later. وصلي اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.